What's going on, Jarity Nation? In today's video, we are going to be discussing how to avoid injury when jumping rope. This is video number 5 in our 7-day Start Here series. And to anyone who's just starting jumping rope, even if you're a veteran, I think it's really good to have this playlist for you to just go through these videos so you can make sure that not only your form is correct, you're eating correctly, you're avoiding injury, but that you can just remind yourself of all these things as you progress in your jump rope journey. So today, like I said, we're going to be covering how to avoid injury. So I'm going to be giving you some practical, like, hey, do these warm-ups, do these stretches, but I'm also just going to talk through some other things relating to jump rope that you should consider to minimize injury, because the last thing you want, if you get injured, then you can't get the true benefit of doing a jump rope workout. So this is super important. Please keep coming back to it. Let's get into the video. Also, just a reminder, this playlist is also available inside of the Jarity app. The Jarity app is where all of our programs live. It's an ad-free experience to do workouts. We have our accountability and coaching forum in there as well. So obviously these videos are all available on YouTube, but if you want a more structured, ad-free, offline experience, the Jarity app is the best place to go. So that's linked up below here. Check it out. So before we even think about doing any stretches or anything to avoid injury, let's just talk about some of the baseline habits I think you should have in order to not just do jump rope workouts, but be exercising in general. I've talked about this in many other videos. First one, sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. Now, I know the people with kids are like, yeah, must be nice, bro. Must be nice to do that. I'm not saying I perfectly understand that it is not realistic for everyone to get 8 hours of sleep every single night. I mean, dude, we live in a busy world, you know? Got a lot of responsibilities, a lot of tasks. But what I am saying is sleep is super, super important to your recovery, thus avoiding injury. So get as much as you can. Listen, if you can only get 5 hours per night, like truly you can only get 5 hours, then get that. If you can get 6, get 6. If you can get 7, then do that. But get as much as you possibly can. And I would even say if you have chances to rest, take advantage of those. Like if you only got 4 hours of sleep, but the next day, maybe you have an hour where you could take a nap. Sometimes I would say go ahead and just rest or sleep rather than further draining your body and doing a really intense workout or something like that. I cannot stress enough how important sleep is to your recovery and overall well-being. Next up, you got to stay hydrated. You know, I always recommend drinking about a gallon of water per day. If you get a little bit under that, it's fine. If you're drinking like a couple liters, like 2 liters of water, that's fine per day. But just be smart about it. Just stay hydrated. One of the easiest ways to do that is just to have one of those steel bottles, you know, that everybody has now. I don't do that. Like I'll buy one of those expensive like Mountain Valley spring bottles one time. That's what I have in my fridge right now. And then I'll just reuse that bottle for months, you know? So we'll get into food in a different video, and I've made some other videos about food, but basically you just need to be eating real food. Like one of the best ways to avoid injury is by, in my opinion, eating a lot of micronutrients. So mainly making sure that your fruit intake is good, making sure that your vegetable intake is good. I don't have any specific, like, this is how many pieces of fruit you should eat per day, but I do eat fruit every single day. I usually eat, like today I've had 2 bananas so far. I'll usually have bananas, oranges, strawberries, blueberries, but I think food like that has a lot of micronutrients that just helps your overall body to be healthy, recover faster, and thus avoid injury. All right, next, you need to have a proper warm-up. I warm up before everything. If I'm surfing and I'm jumping rope, I will do these stretches that I'm about to give you before I start my first workout. And I think these stretches just help me feel better throughout the day. It helps to keep me flexible and, like I said, ready to work out. There's nothing worse than starting a workout without warming up, and then you injure yourself and now you're set back for a few weeks. So, okay, here we go. Here's the stretches. So first up, shoulders rotating forward and back, 10 forward, 10 back, hands pressing together and kind of like waving them away from each other and back again, 10 reps forward. Instead of my palms facing out, I put my palms back, 10 back, Then we have a deep squat for 30 seconds. This is one of my all-time favorite stretches. I've had back issues in the past. I went into my physical therapist and she had me start to do this stretch. First of all, it helps a lot with my flexibility, but it also helps to alleviate pain in my knees, my lower back, my hips. So the deep squat is one I'm a big fan of. I would say one time for 30 seconds is good, but if you're feeling it, do it for 2 sets. Next up, I always just do 10 squats, nice and slow, and squeeze my glutes at the top. 20 jumping jacks. For stretching then, I get down on the ground and go knees to chest. As you can see here, I go 10 on each side for 20 total. I do the cobra, 15 to 20 seconds like this, like you see here. The deep stretch side squat. So I go down into a side lateral squat and then hold each side for 15 to 20 minutes. This one, you're going to need access to a pull-up bar, although I've done this. I've also done this just hanging on other things that were available in my environment to hang on. But 3 sets of 30 seconds for that. Dead hangs are a lifesaver. I used to have some shoulder problems just from doing heavy jump rope and from surfing, from all the paddling, and dead hangs has greatly helped me reduce pain and inflammation in my shoulders. Next, we have the boxer skip shakeout. I just like to do this one before I actually get going with the rope. Helps get the blood flowing and helps me just get ready right before we hit start on the workout. And the last one, I don't do this very frequently, but I would say I should be doing this more. Planking. 3 sets of 30 seconds. Now, you don't have to do these exercises in the order I just gave you, but I would try to do these before every workout because I just feel better and more motivated and like I can perform better during my workouts if I've done these stretches. Next up, to avoid injury, don't overdo it. Like jumping rope is pretty hard on your body. And if you're someone who hasn't done it before and you just come out of the gate like going too hard and saying like, no, I'll fight through the pain, you're going to end up injuring yourself. So if you start to feel any kind of joint or foot pain, I would stop and I would rest and I would jump rope slowly and gradually like we talk about in a lot of other videos. The recommendation I usually give is doing somewhere in the range of 3 to 5 minutes of jump rope every other day until you start to get the rhythm down and your bones and joints are used to it. Then you can start increasing, but basically just don't overdo it too fast because then you're going to injure yourself and then you're going to be like, dude, I can't jump rope now. And that sucks. Foam rolling and using a lacrosse ball to work out your muscles. I did not understand this until I was in my 30s, that when you are constantly moving your body and just even like, your day-to-day activities, you're sitting at a desk, you're sitting in a car, the muscles in your body will get really tight. And for those of you who have experienced this, when your muscles sometimes get really tight, you just get pain and it doesn't feel good to work out or do anything. And that can also lead to injury. So one of the best ways that I avoid injury is I foam roll every day and I use the lacrosse ball. Specifically, as you can see in the clips here, I foam roll the front of my quads out, a little bit of the calf, sometimes the hamstring, but then I use the lacrosse ball for my upper glutes and my back. And then I'll also go up against a door and use the lacrosse ball on my shoulders and the muscles behind my neck. You don't have to go crazy with this. I don't want you pressing, like foam rolling until it hurts kind of thing. But this is one method that has helped me greatly reduce pain and also just reduce injury when I'm working out or living an active lifestyle. Next up, jumping on softer surfaces. The 2 that I can think of that are the best and most practical, jumping on a jump rope mat, a rubber mat like we've talked about. You guys know the one that we use, the cross rope one. Wooden gym floors are really good because they're kind of flexible and they give a little bit versus something like concrete. I've also seen people jumping rope on yoga mats, although they're not great because they'll shift around and you can rip them a lot easier than a proper jump rope mat. But again, it's better than just doing it on concrete. And then lastly, I've seen people do it on like a very thin carpet. So at least there's some cushioning, or those rubber gym floors that you'd see, like what's on the floor at the gym is another good surface. But soft is what you want. And last but not least, we already talked about this in the first or the second video, I think, but just having good form will help you prevent injury. If you are jumping too high off the ground, you're probably going to injure yourself and then you're going to blame it on jump rope when jump rope is not the issue. It's the way that you are jumping rope. So just another quick form reminder, starting from the toes up, as you can see here, We're on our toes, our heels are not hitting the floor. We're only coming 1 to 2 inches off the ground. The knees are bent, absorbing some of that shock. We got the elbows in as far as they can go. Our wrists are out to the sides and our palms are facing forward, straight ahead. Going up to the shoulder blades, we have the shoulder blades pulled back. Our posture is nice and tall. We're staring straight ahead, not at our feet. So those are the main components of avoiding injury. If you have any questions, please let me know, but please come back to this video as a reference because I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that you're not getting injured. And by the way, I didn't really care about this when I was in my 20s. Now I take my recovery very, very seriously because I want to continue to progress at jumping rope and be able to do more intense workouts and improve my endurance and athleticism. I want to be able to surf longer and surf bigger waves. So I have to focus more on my recovery. So don't skip anything in this video. Hit me up if you guys have questions. And like I said, be sure to check out this link right here for the JRD app so you can check out the deals that we have currently. It's super cheap. It's like $150 for the entire year. You get access to every program that we've ever created, nutrition system, accountability forum. The workouts are just in a nicer format and a more structured format than on our YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Next video coming up soon. Do the thing.